Shipping your Etsy items, let's talk about that. Hey, it's Monday, so it must be another Etsy tips video. This is tips and tricks for the small Etsy crafter or artist. If this is something you're interested in, come back every Monday. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe down below. Okay, so you've started your Etsy shop, you've got some sales and you want to know about shipping. So first things first, hopefully before you even put up your listing, you looked into the shipping prices and the different shipping methods in your area for different parts of the country. Some countries, Etsy has some fantastic help with your shipping. Others, we have to be a little bit out there on our own. But look into the different ways to ship in your country, the prices for those things depending on the weight of your items, the best types of packaging, and just how long that shipping's likely to take. You want to make sure that these things are all filled in honestly in your listings. Don't try and hide your shipping costs elsewhere. Might as well be honest about it. Put your shipping costs in the shipping bit of your listing. And like I said, look into your packaging. Some couriers and postal services might have their own methods of shipping. They might give you boxes to ship in, or they might have suggestions. Stuff like the Royal Mail in our country obviously has certain dimensions that lead into different sizes for different pricing. So just look into all of that. Look into any labelling you might need. Look into customs regulations, what you need to declare on your packaging. And again, remember and include the prices for your shipping materials in with your shipping costs. So it's important to know different expectations customers might have from different countries. I ship from the UK and I found our post office is the best way to ship small items of my size and weight. But, however, it's important also to let some customers from different countries know that in the UK our postal service doesn't give tracking information as standard. So they might have expectations for that if it's normal in their country. So just to let them know this is a different thing. You can look into adding tracking as extra, but also find out if it's really worthwhile. As I've discovered, quite often tracking information will track the item in your country, but as soon as it leaves your country, which takes about a day, then it's up to the other country to respect the tracking agreement, and they don't always fill in the details. So sometimes it can just be a waste of money to add it. But it could be extra customer service for your customers to know their item's been tracked, and also a little bit of a guarantee for you to know when your item's actually been delivered. And then the more difficult point, what happens if your customer says the item hasn't been delivered? Unfortunately, so many people will look and say, that's it, my item's been posted, my obligation's finished, that's it, I'm going to forget about that order. But this is not the case. So stop and think like a buyer. If you're buying from somewhere else, if you buy from Amazon, you pay your money and you sit back and wait, and a couple of weeks later you're like, my item's not appeared yet. And you contact Amazon and they say, well, not our fault, we sent it, tough. You're not going to be very happy and you wouldn't buy from that place again. You pay your money, so you expect the item delivered to you. It's as simple as that. And it's the same on Etsy. If a customer contacts you and says the item hasn't turned up yet, it's your job to try and figure out what's going on. Obviously, sometimes this can be a bit tricky, but what you've got to remember is that you have the contract with your shipping company. Your customer paid you to get the goods to them, and then you found a company to do that for you. So you have paid the shipping company, so it's your problem to try and sort out what's going on there. The first step often, if you're shipping internationally, is to look at realistic expectations. Look at how long it should take, and if necessary, just ask your customer to wait a week or two more and then get back to you. Parcels do go missing sometimes, but you've got to give a reasonable amount of time for them to turn up if they're missing. So firstly, ask your customer if they can wait a week or two depending on how long it's been, and if they can get back to you. Make a note of this so you can follow up yourself if needed. And then secondly, it could be the case that it's been tried to be delivered and the customer wasn't in, so ask them to check. Look for the card through their door that says maybe the item was tried to be delivered. Ask them to contact their local post office to find out if the item has been tried to be delivered, or more importantly, if it's been stuck in customs. And then if they've waited a reasonable amount of time and checked everywhere and there's no sign of the parcel, then it's your job to chase this up with your courier service. So you can look into getting the relevant insurances you need if your item's more expensive, or claiming the insurances that come as standard from your postal service, but it's up to you to claim your item's been missing in shipping. And when you're doing that, it's important that you refund or replace the item for the customer. It's not their fault it didn't turn up. They paid you for the item. So they either get their money back or they get a replacement item. Although it is true, there will be customers that try to scam you. So for your protection, if you pay the money for insurance and for tracking, if you're worried about that kind of thing. But I will tell you, over the years I've been on Etsy, it's not very many parcels that go missing, and most of the time they turn up, and most of the time customers are more than honest. I've had a couple of times an item's gone missing. It was a custom made item for an important birthday or something, and it just went missing. Now, I could have kicked up a stink and gone, oh no, they're trying to rip me off, but I didn't. I refunded the customer and then I claimed it on my shipping insurance. And then weeks later, the customer contacted me and said the item had turned up, and they asked for an invoice to pay me back for what had been refunded. Customers aren't always out to rip us off. They're actually far more really good customers than there are the very few possibly scammers. So always give your customer the benefit of the doubt and think like a buyer rather than a seller. So think how you would like to be treated if an item went missing. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope that helped. If you've got any tips or tricks for shipping, don't forget, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. Give us a thumbs up and check out some of the videos at the side here. Thank you very much. See you next Monday.